afternoon, ladies. Ooh, came in a little hot. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We are going to get started here in just a few moments. We have a couple of candidates running a little bit late, so we want to make sure that we have a full panel for you the best that we can. So while you wait, we were able to get some cookies from Chick-fil-A to support the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And so we are providing cookies to everyone that joins us today. So please help yourself with free cookies in the back. And we will get started here in about 5 minutes.
As you're getting your cookies, we'll start in exactly 1 minute. So if you're in that sugar rush, please do get your cookie now. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, my name is Evan Wade. I am a professor of history and social justice studies at San Joaquin Delta College. I am also the chair of the Political Affairs Committee for the Stockton branch NAACP. I want to welcome you to our 2026 Primary Candidates Forum. As we're gathered to get together for our Candidates Forum, it's an opportunity to learn about candidates running for our local offices. On today, we'll hear from candidates running for Stockton City Council, as well as County Supervisor. We have invited all candidates to come and to present on their platforms for today. Before I go over the names of the candidates, as well as the rules, we'll have an invocation from Mr. Caleb Davey. Caleb Davey is a graduating high school senior who's going to UC Davis in the fall time. After our invocation, we'll have a welcome from Tia Barnes of Faith in the Valley. At this time, let's have our invocation.
May we all bow our heads, please. Lord and gracious God, we come to you on this evening. We want to pray for the candidates that are about to approach the stage and give any type of speech in order to pass their election. Lord and gracious God, we hope that everybody is in the right mind. We hope everybody is in the right mind to stay quiet and respect the speakers that are up on stage. We want to in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. All right, clap it up. All right. Yeah. Mr. Davey is a member of our youth council for the NAACP, and he has earned a full ride scholarship to the University of California at Davis. And so we're glad to see him here, and he's going to be a first-time voter. At this time, let's have a welcome from Faith on behalf of all four organizations, but this is Tia Barnes, organizer with Faith in the Valley.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hello, my name is Tia Barnes. I'm a community organizer with Faith in the Valley, also a member of NAACP, and this beautiful sanctuary, Victory and Praise, is my home church. I want to welcome you all. Thank you very much for taking the time out to join us this evening. I hope that we all are able to hear what we need to hear to make a good decision on voting day. So thank you again and welcome.
All right, also clap it up. All right. I want to thank you for being here. We are live streaming, and so we are honored to have members of the press here, front and center. We have the Sacramento Observer, who is now launching here in Stockton as the Stockton Observer 2. So covering Sacramento and covering Stockton. And so clap it up for Stockton Observer. This year, brand new launch. And so you can find today's candidate forum on the Stockton Observer website, as well as re-forwarded on the on NAACP Facebook page, Victory and Praise Facebook, as well as Faith in the Valley. And so we encourage you to reshare this forum. Our goal is to have as many people engage in dialogue and conversation as they hear from our candidates. All of our organizations in NAACP, Faith in the Valley, and Victory and Praise are nonpartisan. We're nonpartisan. And so our goal is to give information. We do not endorse candidates, but we provide a platform where information can go forward. Our format for all of the races today are the same. Each candidate will have a 1-minute opening statement. We will then hear from our moderators, who I'll soon introduce. And as each candidate gets a question, they have 2 minutes for response. And then there's a 1-minute closing statement as well. As the candidates are speaking, you will see up front, we have a student from Delta College, NAACP intern, Andres Cortez. Raise your hand. You will see Andres raise up a yellow when it's 30 seconds. And you will see a red card go up when it is time up. And you will hear our moderators, who I'll soon introduce, say that is time. And so that would be consistent for each of our candidates. We encourage you to take notes as you're hearing from the presentations. We encourage you to text out information as you're hearing from the candidates. And we encourage you to stay afterwards to enjoy and fellowship and meet with the candidates who have campaign material. In addition to having the Stockton Observer here today, we also have the Register of Voters here today as well. Clap it up for the Register of Voters. Okay. They have some excellent materials and information. If you have changed your address, you have not received a ballot in the mail, you want to stop by the Register of Voters. If you have not yet registered to vote and you qualify, you want to stop by the Register of Voters. If you know someone that has changed their address or who has not yet registered, you want to encourage them by stopping by the Register of Voters. And just in general, if you want some good goodies, stop by the Register of Voters. They have some excellent material to give out. We also encourage you to stop by the Stockton Observer page as well too. And you can follow, you can like, you can join, you can subscribe to a new news outlet that is here as well. We're also joined by other news outlets, which I'll be introducing as we go through today's forum. We'll start today with Stockton City Council. We have District number 1, District number 3, and District number 5. For District 1, there are 4 candidates: Tamika Small, Lan Nguyen, Annette Sanchez, and Shelley Hollis. District 3, we have Joey Veltri, Michael Blower, Stephanie Afaro, and Jessica Tacoli. In District 5, we have Ruben Harper, Brandon Villapudua, Mary Elizabeth, Desiree Lynch, and Max Bias. And so we'll hear from District 1 candidates, and then District 3, followed by District 5. Again, we have invited all candidates to present their platforms on today, and we'll hear from the candidates who are present for today. At this time, I want to introduce our moderators for the first race, and actually our moderators for all the races. Today, we're joined from Victory and Praise as well as Faith in the Valley. We have organizer, member Trinity Ivy. Raise your hand. Okay, awesome. And also from Victory and Praise Church, we're joined by Lou Mafi. Raise your hand. Leyu Mafi. All right, awesome. And so we'll hear from our moderators. At this time, we'll go ahead and proceed with District number 1. In terms of engagement, you'll hear me say this. All right, we're going to have one applause at the very beginning to welcome each race. We'll have one applause at the end. We ask that you refrain from applauding, clapping, making any type of interruption between candidates. As we are joined by way of live stream, our goal is to make sure that everyone is able to receive the information adequately. And so with that, let's go ahead and clap it up for District number 1.
Good afternoon, everybody. All righty. So we are going to start with the first candidate. All righty. So many tenants report ongoing issues with housing conditions, delays in inspections, and fear of retaliation when they file complaints. How would you improve the city's response to... Oh. I'm so sorry. Yes, please.
How you guys doing? My name is Shelly Hollis. I'm running for District 1. So I'm a lifetime resident of Stockton, California. I grew up in District 1. I actually went to high school and graduated from Bear Creek in the year 2000. What's very significant about that is not only did I graduate from Bear Creek, but I put my kids through the same district that I was involved in. So I invested in a community. I became a homeowner inside the community. One of the things I've noticed is how it's advanced since the time that I was in there in 1998 when Spanos first started to where we are now, ranging all the way from East Mantle going all the way down to West Lane. I've seen so many changes, I've seen so many progressions, and then I've seen things that hasn't changed as often. You know, one of the things I wanted to do is just not be one of those people that are the political leader that just wants to represent themselves for politics. I want to represent the people. A lot of people that are in these seats forget about you after they get the vote, and I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to have transparency. I want you guys to be able to call me as if I'm a relative, I'm a friend, and someone you can trust. And I want to provide everything that you guys need in District 1, not just for my district, but the city.
And once again, just a reminder, we ask everyone to hold their applause to the end of the forum session. Thank you.
Next, we have Michelle Padilla with your opening statement. Next, we have Lan Nguyen with your opening statement.
Hello, I'm Lan Nguyen. I came from Vietnam. I came here in 1990 as a refugee with my parents. We didn't have any money when we came, and we didn't speak English at all. So I went to Delta College while cleaning people's houses. So the past 5 years, I had decided that, you know, I want to know more about the city. I came here and how I can help. So I had prepared myself. I went to the city council meeting and speak for the community when needed. And I was also the president of the Asian Pacific Islander for Public Affairs, which is the organization that tries to educate the Asian community about civic engagement. I feel that, if I get elected, I can contribute more to the city, and I wish that I can help to make the city better. Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from Tamika Small.
Good evening. My name is Tamika Small, and I'm a lifelong resident of Stockton. I'm a retired probation officer. After serving 22 years in probation, I decided it was time to serve in a different capacity. One of the main reasons that I chose to run is because I am raising a family here in Stockton. Crime is out of control. I do think that one unique thing that sets me aside from my opponents is that I do have a background in law enforcement. So my experience as a law enforcement officer, that has shaped me and helped me understand the causes of crime and the effects that it has on our neighborhoods and our families. So I'm just hoping tonight that I can gain your support and hopefully your vote, and thank you for this time.
And next we have Annette Sanchez with your opening statement.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Annette Sanchez. Born and raised here in Stockton all my life. I grew up in Sierra Vista in the project program there.
Use the mic, please.
Hello, hello. Oh, it's working. Okay. We'll take you that one. As I stated, I was born and raised here in Stockton. I grew up in Sierra Vista and the projects there. I often say that my character was developed because of where I grew up. You had to be in endurance, you had endurance and also build character. I've lived in my district, in District 1, for 24 years before anything was developed out there. So I've seen it grow throughout the years. And the reason why I'm running is that I do see the conflicts and the challenges within the city Stockton and my district. And I feel that my entire career that has been in social services has led me to this.
All right, everybody. Now we will begin with the questions. We are going to start with candidate Hollis first. Many tenants report ongoing issues with housing conditions, delays in inspections, and fear of retaliation when they file complaints. How would you improve the city's response to habitability complaints to ensure inspections are timely, enforcement is effective, and tenants are not discouraged or retaliated against for reporting issues?
You know, that's a, hello? Okay, I'm there. You know, that's a very interesting question, but it also comes with education. You need to educate the people of what's going on and what their rights are and what they have access to. A lot of people make these phone calls in fear of retaliation, and the first person they meet kind of shuts them down as far as the information that they're provided. Even when you go to Stockton, California, you go to the city website, a lot of information is extremely unclear. It doesn't point you in the right direction. There's a lot of times that people like you that are sitting out in these seats right now, when you try to reach out into an individual for help, all you get is a voice message. You get a voicemail, and that's it. And you have to continually try to follow up with information that you don't have. Our city clerk's office, I had the opportunity today trying to go down there and get some stuff done myself, and me sitting here in a council seat, well, not a council seat, but someone running for city council, couldn't get the help that I needed. So me presenting myself to you guys to be the candidate that's gonna bring accountability to the people that I'm gonna be working side by side with is something that's gonna help all of us.
Alrighty. Would you like for me to repeat the question, Ms. Nguyen?
Yes, please.
Alrighty. Many tenants report ongoing issues with housing conditions, delays in inspections, and fear of retaliation when they file complaints. How would you improve the city's response to habitability complaints to ensure inspections are timely, enforcement is effective, and tenants are not discouraged or retaliated against for reporting issues?
I agree with Mr. Hollis that, the city website is really difficult to navigate. I myself, sometimes to look for information there, and it's very difficult. So I think the first thing is that we need to improve that website for the city. Secondly, I think, with the new city manager, I will work with my council members and, try to work with the city manager and, have like series of town hall to invite the resident to come and learn about how to get report and meet various department heads, so to have them listen to the resident what they had to go through to report the problem that they had to go through. And lastly, I would monthly hold town hall so the resident, so I can help the resident to know that I am always be there. If they need any help, they can reach out to me. Thank you.
Candidate Small, it's the same question to you. Would you also like for me to repeat the question?
Oh, no, thank you. I think it's important to work with our city manager and really honing into what our expectations are as a council. He's overseeing the different departments, so I think letting them know what our expectations are, following up with reports in a timely manner. I also think that utilizing the Ask Stockton app is a really great tool. I've used it several times. They're very responsive. It links all the different departments in the city, public works, code enforcement. You can remain anonymous. You take pictures of whatever your complaint is, and I think it's a great way to report issues, and it's a great way to be able to monitor and track the progress to make sure things are getting done. So I would just really implore the citizens to use that. And again, just working with our city manager and really conveying what our expectations are and hopefully changing the culture of people feeling retaliated against if they submit a claim.
Candidate Sanchez, would you like for me to repeat the question?
Sure, I can answer it. HUD has strict requirements on what can be done, and they weigh heavy on the residents' rights. So when you a tenant that is being that's having issues with rental issues, they have their rights, and there's a contact number that they can call. However, if you're not in a HUD development, you can call Ask Stockton, and Stockton will record that complaint that you have, and they'll and the property that you live in also has property managers, and they're required to follow up with those complaints that you have. So there are resources out there to help you if you have complaints where you live, and so I would suggest reaching out to Ask Stockton, your property manager, and also get familiar with your rights with a HUD property if that's where you live.
Alrighty, our next question. Many districts include neighborhoods with very different economic conditions and needs. How would you ensure that the city resources, services, and attentions are distributed equitably across all communities you represent? And how would you stay accountable to residents in both higher and lower income areas? Candidate Hollis?
Yeah, I started in a low-income housing situation. I started on the south side of Stockton. I'm very familiar with growing up in a duplex just because I've been fortunate and had the ability to move myself to a position where I'm in a housing situation I'm at now. That was work. But again, in that same situation, like when I leave to go to work sometimes, I head down Kelly Drive. I notice that every single day that those people don't receive the same treatment as the roads that are designed over here in where I'm at in Spanos Park. Just recently, I watched them get speed bumps, but the speed bumps was to deter the people that were speeding for the safety of the individuals in the area, and that was one thing. But I look at their housing all the time. I look at the kids. I look at the lack of crosswalks. I look at the lack of policing in those areas. So one thing is like, you do have to provide them with the same services. I know particularly where I live because I have HOA and I have people that look out for my neighborhood. If something is bad, we have people that represent us that speak up all the time. But we don't have council that goes to those areas. All of those places are typically ignored. That's why for me, being 43 years old, in those same areas that people are living in right now, I have seen nothing change because people get up here and say what they'll do for those communities and never follow through with them once they take a seat in city council. And for me, that understands because I still myself live that way and have relatives in those areas, it's gonna be a priority.
Candidate Small? Same question.
What I heard from that was economic development. That's what stood out to me. I think with economic development, it goes back to public safety. I think before we can start looking at bringing businesses here, we have to get public safety in order. Nobody's going to want to come and do business here and invest in a community where it's riddled with crime. When you speak about economic development, that raises our city's tax base. So if we spend our money here locally, that's going to create more revenue for us. So I think that we would be able to, at that point, look at bringing better jobs here and building our tax base. I think for the underserved communities, maybe that don't have representation, I think all communities should be equal. I think that we should all have a piece of the pie. I think we need to look at Measure K funding. That measure was passed to support infrastructure like our city roads, our lighting. I think we need to do an audit and have some oversight on where that money is being spent. Is it really being used what it's supposed to be used for? And that's going back into our communities. So I think having the oversight on Measure K is very important. And then obviously I circle back to public safety always before we can look at economic development. Annette Sanchez, would you like me to read the question?
Please.
Sure. Many districts include neighborhoods with very different economic conditions and needs. How would you ensure that city resources, services, and attentions are distributed equitably across all communities you represent? And how would you stay accountable to residents in both higher and lower income areas?
I think it first starts with looking at the fiscal aspect of it. There needs to be accountability for the measures that the public has voted for the taxes. We've been asking for particular budget reports to see where the money is being spent, so that we can know exactly where the money is being spent throughout Stockton. So that is it proportionate throughout the city? Is it one area? We don't know that yet because we've been asking for fiscal reports. I would start there. The next thing is the economic. We are considered a minimum wage to mid-income city. And at the cost of housing nowadays, no one can afford a house. So this will probably be the first generation that's not going to be able to afford a home. So I would look into getting companies that would bring head of household income so that they can afford to buy a home. That would be the next area.
Candidate Wynn?
I have walked the streets since I started my campaign. I noticed that, you know, not only now, but for some time I noticed it in my district on Westland, El Dorado, Lower Sac. We saw trash, you know, pile up along the road. And for some time, you know, on regular basis. And since I walk the street, I ask people, and they don't even know that the city, they can call the public work office, and they can put out a, you know, a big pile of trash, and they can, trash in the city public work can come and pick it up for free. Instead of because they didn't know their service like that, so they just throw the trash right there. So the solution is that there are areas that need attention. And we need to bring the city council there on regular basis to this area that underserved, so that the city council and public work or, you know, different departments to notice that this area needs attention. So if I get elected, I would like to hold a monthly town hall at these areas to get the attention to this area, so they can get the services that, you know, equally that serve in a more upscale neighborhood. Thank you.
The next topic is homelessness, and we are going to start with candidate Hollis. In recent years, the city has taken steps to address homelessness, including investments in shelter and transitional programs. But at the same time, recent counts show that homelessness in San Joaquin County has more than doubled since 2022. And many community members continue to raise concerns about delays in implementation and the lack of safe, immediate options. As state laws and policies increasingly limit where people can legally sleep, What specific short-term strategies would you support to address these needs? And what is your position on approaches such as safe camping or safe parking programs?
Safe camping and safe parking programs are extremely well needed. A lot of these individuals are mothers, fathers, their families, their children. Some of these people actually still have jobs that just can't afford the rent that's here in Stockton, California. In our homeless situation, what's been extremely significant is the lack of investment in time and resources in Stockton, California. We just recently had the largest homeless camp in Spanos in District 1 finally taken down, but no one was accountable for where these people were to go. No one gave them options. I've been out on the street and I talked to these people. I actually just recently volunteered my time, and I've been doing it for a few years, actually 35 minutes away here in Modesto, California, and there's a Modesto street team. And one thing that's significant about these people is they're using city resources and they're using grants that are coming from the state, from federal and state levels. And what they're doing is taking the homeless community and actually providing them with jobs for going around the city and picking up trash. We don't see those same services taking place here in the city of Stockton, California. Now, the other significant part is, what do we do with the children? What do we do with the people with mental health issues? What do we do to protect these people? And a lot of our taxpayer money goes into what goes on with homeless, because when someone gets hurt on the street, they have to be provided with medical services. They don't have the resources and funds to pay for those, but we do as a city, but that's taxpayers' money. So what we should do is start these programs. We have all these buildings, we have places, and we have all these ideas that we've been seeing from candidates for the past 16 years, and nothing has taken place, even to the point where people were fighting at the golf course near Lincoln High School at one point because they were going to turn that into a camp. But we have other locations. We have resources downtown. We have buildings that are not being used, and we can get homes. And even at one point when I lived in Canada, in Hastings Streets, they have an entire community where they have exchange needle programs, medical people on site, and they have buildings where these people can be housed and fed on a daily.
Same question to candidate Wynn.
My family had experienced homelessness before, so I understand, the causes, how it get there, and how we live through that, and how we can pull ourselves out of that. I think the current program that the city, the county, and the state have been doing, we put a lot of money in this, program for housing development, low-income housing development. We see good. We should continue to do that. But I think for short-term solution, we need to have a safe space for people to camp and or to park their car. Because with this economic environment, there are a lot of people have been laid off, and jobs in the city are really scarce. So, we cannot prevent homelessness. So we need to have safe space for people who experience, like short-term homeless. That they have safe space to come somewhere. And I think last year the county bought a golf land in the south side, and initially they planned to put some land in that golf land to have safe camping there. And then I don't know what happened, they changed their mind, and they cancel that plan. So if I get elected, I would advocate for that to the county to open the space, to have some space for safe camping. And I also learned from Delta College that, at least like 50% of the students there every day can experience homelessness. So we need to pay attention to that group also. So for short-term solution, we need to have safe space for camping and parking. Thank you.
Same question to candidate Small. Would you like for me to repeat the question?
When you speak about homelessness, it's very complex because there are many reasons why one is homeless. It could be substance abuse issues, mental health, or people they're working, but they just can't simply afford housing. So I think we have to look at what are the underlying issues first of what's causing the homelessness. I think partnering with behavioral health, some of our CBOs and our nonprofits who are out there doing the work every day, I think we need to tap on them and use them as a resource. I think that the encampment that was moved in Trinity Parkway, I personally think that was for political points because there was no permanent solution for those people. I don't know that they were offered any services, and if they were, what are the benefits? Where are they at? The current incumbent is also the chair of the Homeless Ad Hoc Committee, and homelessness rates have doubled since 2022. So we need to look at the continuum of care. How is this money being spent? What's working and what's not working? That needs to be audited. Safe camping sites, it's not a bad idea, but it's temporary. It's not permanent. We need to start looking at permanent solutions. How do we get the unhoused on a pathway to permanent housing? How do we get them the services that they need that's causing the issues of homelessness? So I think that we need somebody that's solution-driven and not just going to move them from one place to another place, because that's not solving the problem.
Candidate Sanchez.
I agree to an extent, and I'll even take it further. When the encampment happened in disseminating the residents there off of Trinity Park, there was no backup setup. There was no case manager, no mental health clinician, no substance abuse counselor, nothing. It was just to disperse these people, and guess what? A week later, some of them came back. So it is a multi-layer issue with the homeless. There's and right away when you talk about the homeless, you think that it's somebody that's on substance abuse and they don't want to apply to the rules for the shelters. And a lot of times that's not the case. It's individuals that lost their apartment, and so they have nowhere else to live, and they can't afford the rent, so now they're homeless, and they have children, or that they have pets and they don't want to give up their pets. For a lot of them, their pet is their emotional support system. So there are very few shelters that provide kennels to have individuals that are homeless to provide their pets. I think it comes down to an economic issue within the city. Again, I go back to the pay rate, low income. You're not going to be able to pay, not even rent. Rent is almost double, like $2,000, probably $2,400. And if you're making minimum wage, you're not going to be able to afford that, plus your other expenses. So, and if you're a parent that's raising children, you're going to be homeless. But there are other agencies to help. Community medical center that provides medical assistance.
Next question. With city facing budget constraints and potential funding shortfalls, how would you approach managing the city's finances, and how would you prioritize spending across essential services such as public safety, homelessness, and community development? Candidate Hollis?
Managing the city budget? Okay, I think that's clearly impossible for my opportunity, but I want to make you guys aware of some things that when we passed Measure In, and a lot of you guys were seeing advertisement about how it's going to make the city safer, and it was going to provide you guys with a community that was going to be better because there was going to be more policing because we were lacking of jobs. When the city had that same budget before, that's when we filed bankruptcy. So what you need to understand is a lot of the money that's being spent right now isn't being spent on you. It's being spent on overtime. It's being spent on new vehicles. It's been spent on positions in the police department that are not even there. We have so many people in this county that make upwards of $200,000 to $500,000 a year. Yet in the city of Stockton, our median income is less than $45,000. The educational rate in Stockton, California is 13% with bachelor's degrees. So think about that. So you're talking about controlling budget. Your budget has been controlled in your face for a long time because the people that take these seats don't care about what happens to the city of Stockton. So when it comes to budget, what I'll do is just tell you the truth.
Candidate Nguyen, same question.
I totally agree with Ms. Hollett about this, the budget process here that need to be, the resident need to pay more attention, especially, during council meeting when they had a contracting work on the agenda. Sometimes you look at the numbers there and you don't know if the company that we doing business with, how they get chosen, how that, contracting process has been playing out and how much that money we pay into there that really actually, work for the project that they sign up. And there I learned that there is something in Stockton that, if the company sign contract with the city, and if later on they need more money that below $100,000, and they can automatically apply to that without the city council approval. So I feel that we need, as the resident and as city council member, we need to look at the contracting process to see how and where the money go, and actually that the money we go to this company actually work for us or not. And also, I think the resident need to, more involved and engage to look at the number and question your city council member and ask them, what's this number make up, how it going to be. We need to be more involved, because if we elect the elected official and we just leave them do the job and we don't hold them accountable, then they just go ahead and do whatever they want. They don't come back and report to us. Thank you.
Next, we have candidate Small.
So I had the opportunity a couple of months ago to attend this council's goal-setting meeting. And in that meeting, it was all the upper heads of each department, the city manager. And in that meeting, they spoke about what their goals were for the city for this coming year. And based on those goals, the manager will see, okay, what are the goals for the city? And then they will know how to allocate what first, what's prioritized within the budget. So I'll speak on Measure A, because I think transparency is huge when we are talking about taxpayers' money. People want to know where the money is going, where is it being spent. With Measure A, which passed in 2014, that promised us 120 officers. We have not seen that amount of officers, and we're down 60 officers. So I think having oversight and audits on where the money is being spent and being transparent with the citizens, I think that's very important. And I just go back to the Measure A. Last year, a council member ordered an audit to be complete. A year later, that audit has not been completed. So that's how you lose the trust of the citizens, when you're not transparent and you're not following through with what was ordered to do. I think it's important as a leader to not just give directions, but you have to have follow through, because if you don't, you're gonna lose the trust of the citizens. And public safety, I go back to that again, because we have officers who are putting their lives on the line each and every day, and they're working with no contract for a year. I have a problem with that. That's not okay. We need to take care of our officers, and we need to look at retaining them instead of losing them to other cities that are more desirable. So I think just having oversight on the different areas of the budget and being transparent with the citizens, I think that's what we need to do.
Candidate Sanchez?
That is correct. Measure A was voted in 2014 to increase the number of police officers on the force. And I've asked, where are we with that? And I would tell you, we've reduced the number of police officers instead of increased the number of police officers. Accountability for the fiscal aspect of Measure A, we've been waiting for over a year to see the budget. However, the commissioners that sit on that board that have asked for a report for the audit of Measure A have asked for it for over a year. That information, I don't know if has gone down to the council member that each one of them represents. But ultimately, it is the council member that should be held accountable for the dollars that are being spent and knowing where those dollars are being spent. I learned that the substance abuse or the drug department for the police department is now down to 2 officers for our entire city, 2 officers to oversee the drug department. And when they have what I'll refer to as a SWAT on an area, they go to other cities. They ask adjacent cities' police department to assist them because we don't have enough officers. So it's about accountability for the fiscal if I'm elected, the first thing I do, and I do this on all the boards that I sit on and organizations throughout the community, is I ask to sit on the fiscal board because I want to know where the dollars are, where is it being spent, and where's the waste. And right now, I know Measure A's got some waste.
I'm very glad that the word transparency was brought up several times because that leads to our next question. Recent community concerns have highlighted issues related to transparency, external influence, and the spread of misinformation in local decision-making. What actions would you take to strengthen accountability, ensure ethical governance, and build public trust in city processes? We're going to start with candidate Small.
I think transparency is very important. I think it's important to elect leaders who are going to govern with honesty, transparency, and integrity. I myself is a person of integrity. As a probation officer, I was held to a much higher standard, much higher than the average citizen. So if I'm elected, I will continue to hold myself to that standard. I think when we're transparent with the community, that's how you gain and build the trust. So I think coming into it, I will be that person of integrity and fight and be the voice for my district, regardless of other people's opinions or, not everybody's going to get along or have the same idea on things, but as an elected official for my district, I will represent with transparency and with honesty always.
Candidate Hollis. All righty. Thank you. Recent community concerns have highlighted issues related to transparency, external influence, and the spread of misinformation in local decision-making. What actions would you take to strengthen accountability, ensure ethical governance, and build public trust in city processes?
I'm taking those steps now before you guys, and that's why I'm here. I've been taking those steps. If a lot of you guys don't know who I am, I'll repeat my name again. My name is Shelly Hollis, and I've been one that's been holding the city accountable for many years. I'll let you guys know what laws are being broken, what laws are being implemented. And when you talk about distrust, our entire city council right now is distrust. People have motives, people are tied together, people run as slates, people use the lives that we're living in a city to their advantage when it comes time to be elected. For me, I just want to be that person that's tangible. I want to be your neighbor, I want to be your friend, I want to be that person that you call, that you can speak to. If you guys don't know what's going on, if you guys cannot see through the smoke, if you guys don't know what's going on and the blurred lines, you will never know. A lot of people speak very well about what they will do, and they never follow through. I've been one of the people in the community already speaking up for the people against the people that are putting their thumb on us, and that's the difference with me. So putting me in a position where putting me in a seat where I have access to the truth, and I have access to you people, and you have access to me, we can only grow together.
Candidate Wynn.
For people who have watched me attended city council meeting last year, I spoke out against the canceling of the DAI money. The city put $100,000 for that program to ensure that, to hire one person to ensure that every hire at the city that reflect our diversity, right? And our previous interim city manager, he canceled that money and he used that money to pay his consultant. So I spoke out against that. So that's what I have been doing. I speak out when needed for the sake of the community. But recently, the city council just voted to move the meeting to 1 o'clock. This will prevent a lot of people from the community to attend the meeting, right? The city council meeting is supposed to be accessible to all residents to come and attend and, to voice their concern. So the first step is when I get elected, I will make sure that we move it back to 5:30 so we all can be able to attend. Secondly, I would hold regular town hall meeting with my district to share with them every month what the city council have been voting on, what they have been doing for us, for the community, for the city, and bring them all the information there and share with them and empower them to attend the city council meeting to ask hard questions to make sure that our money is used for the purpose that we, the residents, vote for. Thank you.
Okay, finally, candidate Sanchez, would you like the question repeated?
Transparency. You know, with you guys know everything that's going on, and it would not benefit us to try to deceive you guys. I open myself up to you guys to come to me, talk to me, tell me what you see, tell me, show me in tangible proof what is taking place, and I will be your voice on that council to raise those issues. It's vitally important to have transparency and even to report back to the community, District 1, what is taking place that is unjust. And it's vitally important, and to bring up the issues that I know that are wrong, such as changing the time for you guys to come and speak in public comment time. If the meetings are going